No matter how obvious the truth is, some celebrities refuse to admit their mistakes. Instead of an honest apology, they give excuses, blame others, or twist the story to make themselves look better. I have seen so many of these moments, and sometimes the explanation is worse than the actual scandal. In this video, I am going to show you 20 times celebrities tried to explain their scandals on screen. Some handled it well, but others made things even messier. R. Kelly defends himself.
Said something bad about me. Nobody said nothing good. They was describing Lucifer. I'm not Lucifer. I'm a man. I make mistakes, but I'm not a devil, and by no means am I a monster.
Sitting across from Gayle King, R. Kelly strongly denied all accusations against him. He firmly stated that he had done nothing wrong and that the claims were false. His voice became emotional as he said he was fighting for his life. He insisted that the accusations did not represent who he was. As King pressed him about past allegations, he became frustrated. He accused people of bringing up his past to add more false claims. When King argued that his past was relevant, he disagreed, saying it was not fair to judge him again after he had already won his case. When asked if he had ever held anyone against their will, he responded angrily, questioning why he would do such a thing. He raised his voice, stood up, and passionately argued that people were trying to destroy him. He pleaded with the public to use common sense and not believe what he called lies about him. Michael Richards talks about his past mistakes.
Not as horrible as it was 18 years ago. Anger had a hold of me, and I canceled myself out.
Michael Richards addressed the incident that damaged his career, admitting anger had taken control that night. He stepped away from show business to understand his actions, believing he needed to face his mistakes and work on himself. Richards said he canceled himself, choosing self-reflection over the spotlight. When asked if he had made changes, he felt he had, discussing the importance of self-forgiveness. He also discussed his return to public life in his new book, which shares both his successes and struggles. Richards talked about his battle with prostate cancer, saying he once accepted the worst but received treatment in time. He said the experience made him reflect on his life and pushed him to finish his book. Johnny Depp denied all accusations.
Did I myself reach the point of striking Miss Heard in any way, nor have I ever struck any woman in my life.
Johnny Depp spoke in court about the accusations made by Amber Heard, calling them shocking and extremely upsetting. He stated that he had never been violent toward her or any other woman at any point in his life. He explained that he decided to speak publicly to defend himself and to protect his children, who were teenagers when the accusations surfaced. He described how his reputation changed instantly, comparing it to going from being seen as a hero to being treated as an outcast. He expressed frustration over the way his life was affected by the claims against him. During his testimony, he acknowledged past struggles with substance use, but insisted that the situation had been exaggerated. Meanwhile, Heard watched his statement without much visible reaction. Bill Clinton denies physical affair with Monica Lewinsky.
I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never.
During a public address, Bill Clinton strongly denied accusations of an affair with Monica Lewinsky. He took a serious tone while making it clear that the allegations were not true. Before addressing the issue, he thanked the audience and mentioned working late on his speech. Then he firmly stated that he had no involvement with Monica Lewinsky. He also made it clear that he never told anyone to lie. He repeated his denial, stressing that the claims were untrue. After that, he quickly shifted focus, saying his main concern was serving the country. Janet Jackson addresses Mariah Carey rumors.
You guys, that is so untrue. Please. And you know what? I just found out that somebody made this rumor up in New York. It just came out yesterday. And the thing is I sent Mariah flowers saying, "Welcome to the family."
Janet Jackson was asked about a rumor suggesting she was upset over a record deal of Mariah Carey. She seemed unaware of it at first, but once it was explained, she quickly dismissed it. She made it clear that she had no issue with Mariah Carey receiving a bigger deal. She explained that someone had started the rumor in New York just a day earlier. To prove there was no tension, she shared that she had sent flowers to welcome Mariah Carey. She said she never expected to hold the record forever. In her view, it was natural for someone to eventually sign a bigger deal. Instead of being upset, she was happy for Mariah Carey and wished her success. She wanted people to stop assuming there was any rivalry. Paula Deen denies being racist on TV.
The main reason I am here today, Matt, is it's important to me that I tell you and everyone out there what I believe and how I live my life.
Paula Deen appeared on television to talk about the controversy surrounding her. She became emotional and said she was not a racist and never wanted to hurt anyone. She insisted that it was important for her to explain how she lived her life. When asked if she had any racist tendencies, she firmly said no. She recalled growing up in a home where her father did not accept unkindness. She mentioned that he warned her never to think she was better than others. She brought up a past court statement where she admitted using a racial slur.
I had a gun put to my head, a shaking gun, because the man that had the gun to my head, unbeknown to me, was my customer.
She explained that she had said it while describing a bank robbery she had witnessed, where a man had pointed a gun at her head. She insisted that it had been a long time since she last used that word. Tearing up, Paula said she thanked those who supported her, but heartbroken over the situation. Tiger Woods addresses his scandal.
Made you question who I am and how I could have done the things I did. I'm embarrassed that I have put you in this position.
Standing at a podium in front of a quiet room, Tiger Woods spoke carefully. He did not give many details about what happened, but said he was leaving for more therapy. He admitted that his actions made people doubt who he really was. He said he understood why they questioned him. His wife was not there, making it clear that things were not fixed. Then he openly confessed to his mistakes. He said he had been unfaithful, had affairs, and cheated. He made it clear that what he did was wrong and not acceptable. Looking at both the camera and the people in the room, he denied that his wife had ever hit him. His voice grew stronger only when he denied rumors about his wife and asked the media to leave his family alone. He admitted that fixing things would not be easy, but promised never to make the same mistakes again. Hugh Grant talks about his past regret.
I then chose to get arrested here in Hollywood.
Hugh Grant openly admitted to making a mistake when he was arrested in 1995. Instead of making excuses, he simply stated that he had done it. He explained that he did not try to blame personal issues or offer any justifications. He knew what he had done was wrong and took responsibility for it. During an interview with Jay Leno, he publicly apologized and admitted that he had made a poor decision. He acknowledged that in life, people understand the difference between right and wrong, and he had chosen to do something bad. Grant also reflected on how his actions affected others, mentioning that many talented people worked on his film, but he was the one who let them down. He recalled that his arrest happened just before the film was released, making the situation even worse. Charlie Sheen speaks about his HIV diagnosis.
I thought there'd be, rejected handshakes or, no, people are hugging and compassionate and supportive and awesome. And
Charlie Sheen denied ever putting anyone at risk after learning about his diagnosis. He insisted he had never done anything that could harm another person and would not be able to live with himself if he had. Despite claims from former partners, he maintained that no one had been infected because of him. Recalling the moment he received the diagnosis, he admitted his first reaction was disbelief. He had asked for the test to be checked again, convinced that this was something that happened to others, not him. While he stood by his claim of not having unprotected encounters, he admitted there were times he did not disclose his condition. He explained that many people had used his diagnosis against him, seeking financial gain. Over the years, he had paid large sums to prevent false stories from spreading. He described feeling betrayed by people he once trusted, saying they had turned against him when given the chance. Lance Armstrong admits to doping.
I view this situation as one big lie that I repeated a lot of times.
In an interview with Oprah Winfrey, Lance Armstrong finally answered the questions many had been waiting for. When asked if he had taken banned substances to enhance his performance, he admitted he had. He also confirmed using EPO, blood doping, and other enhancers throughout his career. Every one of his 7 Tour de France wins, he acknowledged, involved doping. When Oprah asked if winning without enhancements was possible, he firmly said no. He called his actions one big lie that he had told many times. Accepting full responsibility, he made it clear that his choices were his alone. Oprah questioned the culture of doping in cycling. He avoided blaming others, saying he did not want to accuse anyone. He only wanted to admit his mistakes. When the topic of the UCI came up, he said he was not a fan, but did not call them corrupt. He also admitted making a financial donation after being asked. Lynn Spears clarifies rumors about blocking Britney.
I wanted to address something, even though I shouldn't because it's so stupid, but someone obviously got in my account and blocked my sister. I never blocked my sister, and I never would.
Lynn Spears addressed rumors that she had blocked her sister, Britney Spears, on social media. She explained that someone must have hacked into her account because she would never block Britney herself. She thought it was ridiculous to believe she would handle any issue with her sister in such a petty way. She emphasized how much she loved and supported Britney. If she ever had a real problem with her, Lynn said she would handle it directly, either by calling or visiting her sister. She found it silly that people would believe she would express her feelings through a social media block. Lynn made it clear that there was no drama between them. She reassured everyone that the Spears sisters were fine and that she loved seeing posts of Britney. Kanye West defended his controversial shirt.
So the answer to why I wrote White Lives Matter on a shirt is because they do.
Kanye West spoke about his decision to wear a White Lives Matter shirt during a fashion event in Paris. He stated that he wrote those words on the shirt because, in his view, they were true. He expressed that he did not see anything unusual about stating something he considered obvious. During an interview, he mentioned that he acts based on instinct and follows what feels right to him. He described his choices as guided by a connection with God and intelligence. He also shared a conversation with his father, who found the shirt amusing. Kanye recalled telling his father that he also thought it was funny, to which his father responded that it was simply a black man stating something obvious. He claimed that the media tries to push a narrative against him, calling him crazy, but he insisted that their approach was not working. He also spoke about facing threats for his political views and fashion choices. Lindsay Lohan faced tough questions on live TV.
So now, when you go to the rehab, what do they do?
We're here for a movie.
Lindsay Lohan appeared on a talk show expecting to promote her upcoming film, but the conversation quickly shifted to her personal struggles. The host surprised her by bringing up rehab, asking if she was supposed to be there instead of on the show. She responded by mentioning the date she was set to enter treatment, but the questions kept coming. The host asked how many times she had been to rehab and what made this time different. He also wanted to know what specific issues were being addressed. The audience laughed, but Lohan looked uncomfortable. She pointed out that this was not planned in the pre-interview, though she tried to stay composed by saying rehab would give her a chance to focus on things she cared about. The questions did not stop. The host directly asked if she struggled with addiction and if alcohol was the problem. Lohan pushed back, saying it was unfair to joke about something so serious. Kevin Hart addresses Oscars controversy.
You know, there's a lot of goals that I have on my board. I got a vision board, and on that vision board is so many things that I want to do that I'll check off as they get done. And Oscars was up there. Oscars was one of the highest of highs.
Kevin Hart shared that hosting the Oscars had always been a major goal for him. When he was finally offered the chance, he felt honored and excited. But the celebration did not last long. The next day, old tweets resurfaced, sparking backlash. He said he had already apologized for those comments years ago. At first, he ignored the criticism, thinking the issue had been resolved. But as the headlines changed, he was frustrated by how the situation was being framed. He insisted he was not the same person he was back then. When given an ultimatum to apologize again or step down, he chose to walk away. He apologized once more, but said he wanted to move forward. For him, it was time to leave the conversation behind. Sheen defended his behavior.
You were bored?
No, I did that because they work.
Work to do what?
Just change the way you see things, change the way you feel.
Charlie Sheen spoke in an interview where he made several bold statements about his life, career, and struggles. He insisted that he was free from addiction and had no interest in using drugs. When asked if he was sober, he responded with confidence, telling the interviewer to simply look at him for proof. He claimed that he had overcome his struggles through sheer mental strength, saying that he had made it happen just by deciding to do so. He also shared his frustration with the network behind his show, saying they should be grateful for his work. Throughout the interview, he described himself in exaggerated terms, saying he had qualities that made him different from others. He spoke about having rare strength and power, using phrases like tiger blood and Adonis DNA. Ellen DeGeneres speaks about workplace allegations.
This summer, there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show, and then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected.
Ellen DeGeneres addressed the claims about a toxic workplace on the first episode of her new season. She told the audience that over the summer, serious issues were brought up about the work environment on her show. She admitted that things happened that should never have taken place. Ellen said she took the situation seriously and apologized to those who were affected. She explained that many discussions had taken place about the show and the changes that needed to be made. She said important steps were taken and the team was now moving forward in a better way. She also spoke about her own role in the situation. She acknowledged that she held power and influence, which meant she had a responsibility to make sure the work environment was positive. Ellen also responded to claims that she treated people poorly outside of the show. She said she always tried to be a kind person, but admitted she was still learning. Will Smith talks about Oscar's slap.
So I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable.
Will Smith spoke in a video about what happened at the Oscars. He said he had been thinking a lot about his actions and felt very sorry. When asked why he did not say sorry to Chris Rock in his speech, he said everything felt unclear at that moment. He reached out to Rock later, but Rock was not ready to talk. Smith said he would wait until Rock wanted to speak. Smith also apologized to Mother of Rock. He said he did not think about how many people would be hurt by his actions. He talked about his friendship with Brother of Rock. Tony might never be the same again. He shared that he had spent months trying to understand what happened. He made it clear that hitting Rock was never the right thing to do. He clarified Jada did not tell him to do anything. It was his own decision based on his past with Rock. Smith also apologized to his wife and family for the trouble he caused them. Amber Heard responds to verdict and social media reaction.
Vast majority of this trial was played out on social media.
Amber Heard spoke about the decision of jury in her defamation trial against Johnny Depp, saying she did not hold resentment toward them. She believed they had a difficult job, especially with Depp being well-liked and talented. In her view, people felt a strong connection to him, which may have influenced their opinions. She also shared her frustration with how social media portrayed the trial. She said that regardless of what people thought of her, they could not deny how unfair the online discussions had been. In her opinion, the narrative was heavily against her from the start. She mentioned that the jury had listened to weeks of testimony, much of it from paid employees or, as she described, random individuals. She believed their decision was shaped by repeated claims that she was not credible, making it nearly impossible for them to believe her. Britney Spears explained her infamous head-shaving incident. Britney Spears looked back on a difficult time in her life when she was asked about shaving her head. She described that period as overwhelming, with personal struggles involving her children and Kevin Federline. She expressed that she felt abandoned and deeply hurt. She explained that she did not want to stay home because home reminded her of her children, and during that time, everything felt too much to handle. She mentioned that people quickly assumed she was using drugs or losing control, but she felt that was not the case. She pointed out that many people shaved their heads, yet when she did it, people reacted as if it meant something extreme. She admitted she had been dealing with a lot emotionally and saw it as an act of rebellion or a way to feel free. She further said that she had both good and bad days, and sometimes everything felt too overwhelming for anyone to handle. Tristan Thompson apologized for his mistakes. Tristan Thompson sat down to speak about his past actions and express regret. He admitted that his choices had affected many people and said he wanted to apologize, especially to Kylie Jenner, for the pain caused. He mentioned that the situation had been difficult for her because she had lost someone who had been like a sister. He acknowledged that his actions had created problems between Kylie and Jordan Woods and took full responsibility. He described himself as someone who had made reckless decisions without thinking about their consequences. He admitted that he had been selfish and had not fully valued the people in his life. When asked why he had repeatedly made the same mistakes, he confessed that he had not truly understood love. He talked about how his upbringing had shaped him and agreed that he had hurt Khloe Kardashian in ways she had not deserved.